everybody, Chevy Nobody Else's Auto. It is a beautiful day out here. Saturday, April 3rd. Spring is finally starting to show its head, starting to get decent out. Haven't done one of these in a while. Haven't had the weather to cooperate with doing it, so thought we'd jump on while we had a few minutes. As always, if you've got questions, go ahead and throw them up there. Be more than happy to walk past something, show it to you, things like that. If you've got specific questions, give me a call after we get done, 620-786-4428. That number's on the page, so we can talk about what you need. More than happy to show you something, but as far as pricing and shipping and all that, it's better if we have that conversation after you call me, because when you say you need a door, I don't know if you need a bare door or a complete door. I don't know if you're going to pick it up. I don't know if I have to get it ready to ship. All that stuff weighs into the pricing. And I may have more than the one I just showed you too. So if you got specific questions about something, give me a call afterwards. If you want to see something, by all means, let us know. If you've got any questions, throw them up there. We'll sure try to get to them. So we'll just kind of start wandering around, checking some cool stuff out. 1972 Ford F100 right here behind us. 1979 Ford F350 right behind that one. Super cool one here that I've shown it to you a few times, but I haven't got this thing dug out and done a video on it. It kind of got buried in this block of trucks, but this thing is super awesome. 1955 DeSoto Hemi station wagon. They made like 1,600 of these cars, I think. 55 DeSoto Fire Dome wagon. Something that's really cool that you really don't see. T-top Camaro back there. 55 Pontiac back there. 56 Pontiac. What did you want to say on that, Chris? If you wanted to see something, we can sure head that way on some. If you've got any specific questions, then call me later, but we can sure walk past some if there's one you want to see or something we were talking about. So we'll keep on wandering. We got a bunch of A-body stuff over there. Skylark, Le Mans, Chevelle, Cutlass. A couple of Novas in the mix over there as well. We've got what was a Pontiac sedan delivery. This was actually a body that was like, it had a window cut in the side, was used as a delivery car. This car actually got cut apart to restore a car my dad has. My dad's got a 51 Pontiac short wheelbase ambulance, and they actually used this for a donor car to repair and rebuild the ambulance body. Custom cab Ford pickup right there beside that. 79 Malibu. A lot of G-body stuff in here, so we can always work past some of that if you guys like G-bodies. 46 Chevy two-door sedan. Some of the stuff that you don't think about a lot, but I'm starting to grab. Late 80s Pontiac Sunbird convertibles. I've got two of them.
56 Pontiac two-door.
Okay, we've got one of those over there, and then there's one up front. We can head over towards that one and walk past it too. The little 88 on up Buick Regal two-doors. There again, not a lot of them left around, but if we don't save some of them, there's not going to be anything left. We'll head this way and head over towards where one of those 56 Pontiacs is at. The other one's clear up front of the buildings. I don't know if we'll get over that way or not, but if we do, we'll sure show you that one as well. This section here, I am in the process of reorganizing. This was 60s era GM. As you can tell, there's a 64 Buick Riviera there. And when you look in the middle, you can see some 60s stuff, a lot of 50s stuff kind of starting to trying to shift into this area, because this area is going to be 50s era GM. Obviously 52 Pontiac, 53 Olds 98. Another 64 Riviera, so you can still see there's some of the 60s stuff in here, but getting this area reshuffled into 50s. One interesting thing about this 53 Olds 98, you don't see these very often on a 53 Olds 98. Intake scoop, outlet ducts. This car had factory air in 1953. 69 Tempest Le Mans, nothing in 69 A-body Pontiac. Rebuildable dusters, I've got 3 dusters, but none of them are really good projects. 53 Chevy 210s. We can work our way up that direction past some of the 53 and 54 Chevys after we catch this first 56 Pontiac. There's some over in another couple sections over there where I started putting 50s era GM cars, and that's where that section's going to stay. I've got so many of them after moving stuff in from Dad's place. There's so many of them on the north side. I needed a ton more room for 50s era GM. As we can see here, these last couple rows, I'm starting to move a lot of the Buicks in that we brought in from Dad's place of the 50s era Buicks. So we're getting those moved into this section. Got a lot of this section is GM truck right now. it's going to be 50s era GM cars because there's just so many of them that I need to get moved in here. Now here's one of the 56 Pontiac two-door posts. This is a pretty decent body. It's got a little bit of rust in the floors, but not terrible. One interesting thing about this car, if we look over there on the floor, it's got a clutch pedal. This car is a factory stick. Something very, very seldom seen in a Pontiac. AMC Pacer, there is a couple of those we can head over towards as well. We can go past some of the 53, 54, kind of work our way that direction. There is one 54 Chevy right there. There's a Bel Air four-door over here. And we'll head up towards a few more 53 and 54 Chevys, and we'll maybe catch a couple Pacers. So, we'll kind of cut through this section. This section here, once again, will be 50s era GM. It's kind of a menagerie right now. I've got some of the 50 stuff moved in here. There's some A-body GM. There's a few Chevy trucks here because they were close to the other ones when I moved them in. And there's some 50 stuff here. 58 Chevy station wagons, a couple of those here. 1955 Pontiac Star Chief. Interesting side note, I bought that car when I was 10 years old. That was one of my very first parts cars. Not the very first, but one of the very first parts cars I ever bought was that 1955 Pontiac Star Chief when I was 10 years old. I bought it at an auction down in Stafford County, Kansas. I think it was 10 bucks or something like that. So kind of an interesting side note. 1950 Chevrolet, 1958 Pontiac. We're going to keep heading this way towards some of those 53, 54 Chevys.
G-body GM, any rebuildable Malibu two-doors.
I've got 2 or 3 two-door Malibus, but I've parted all of them. None of them are really complete. I've got some decent bodies, but a lot of pieces are missing off of them. Heading towards some more of the 50s era GM, 1950 Chevy panel, or sedan delivery, excuse me. 1948 Fleetline, 1936 Chevy two-door sedan. Here's a 53. This one's a Bel Air two-door hardtop. And we'll kind of work our way around, then we'll cut in here in the middle. 57 Bel Air four-door. We can cut right back in through here. 57 Pontiac, 1951 Buick Roadmaster, 1947 Roadmaster. Here's a 53 210 four-door. That was a pretty good old car when it came in. Sold a lot of pieces off of this car. 254 two-door posts. And we can kind of work our way around, and there's another 53 up here. Several more 53s and 54s on the other side of the new yard as well. So we're going to catch a few of these while we're here. And down here on the corner, we've got a 53 Bel Air two-door post as well. So there's that, a whole row of 55 Cadillacs. Those are great looking cars. We'll catch a couple of Pacers, and while we're up here towards the front, we'll go swing by that other 56 Pontiac as well. So 66 Coronet two-door hardtop. Actually, there's my very first parts car that I ever bought, the 1958 Buick Special four-door. That was the very first parts car I ever bought. So it's kind of got its own special place right there in the front. Old Studebaker M-Series truck. We'll catch this Pacer, then we'll swing up and catch another Pacer. Here's one of the earlier Pacers. This was a wagon, had the wood grain on it. Part of the front suspension's gone out of that one. As always, if you got questions, throw them up there. We'll sure try to get to them. Sometimes they get scrolling pretty quick, and we miss a few, but we'll sure try to catch everything we can.
F-bodies.
F-bodies, we'll, yeah, we can catch some of those as well. Next to the Pacer, real quick while we're here, super cool 1965 Plymouth Fury 3 station wagon that was actually originally an ambulance. This was an amble wagon. Station wagon body, but it was an ambulance conversion. Used by the Skate Center here in Great Bend, Kansas as a promotional car back in the late 70s, early 80s. All kinds of super cool graphics on it. We can tell by the hood ornament there's no motor in this car, but it was a factory 383 big block station wagon. I bet in its day it was a pretty cool ride. So let's catch one more pacer in the other 56 Pontiac, and we'll swing by some F bodies. And like I said, we try to catch as many of the comments as we can. Sometimes they get scrolling. If we missed it, we apologize. You can always give me a call after we get done, and I can sure get into some specifics with you on exactly what you're looking for. We're heading up here towards the front right now. 1934 Ford truck, kind of a cool old piece. Great look to it. This barbed wire was wrapped around the headlights when it came in. Thought it looked great, left it on there. Here's another pacer. This is a later one. This is also a wagon. This is the later one, like a 78 with the egg crate grill in it. As we come around the front, we can see that. This is a really good car, solid car, pretty much intact, and would make somebody a neat little project.
49 Mercury 8.
I've only got 149 Mercury in here. It was a 4-door, and it's rough. There's very little left of it. 41 Ford commercial truck, 51 Ford F3 pickup. We'll catch this other 56 Pontiac while we're up here, then we'll cut back that way, catch a few Firebirds and Camaros. I've got a lot of Firebirds and Camaros here, probably 40 or 50 of them. I'm a big fan of them myself, so. I'm gonna catch this 50. I got this other 56 Pontiac clear up here in the corner. 83 Buick Regal, complete car. Square body Chevy short bed. Studebaker Starlight coupe. 62 Chevy short step side bed pickup. Here's the other 56 Pontiac. This car has been scraped a little bit on the side. No motor or tranny in this particular car, but this is a very, very good body. Take a peek inside of this one, look at the floors and everything. Really good shell here if somebody wanted to build a hot rod out of it. Really good candidate. Take a peek at the other side. Appreciate everybody getting on with us and hanging out today. Hope you're enjoying it. Other side of this car really straight will make somebody an awesome project.
Early 30 Chevy 5-window.
I don't have any early 30 Chevy coupes at all right now. We'll sneak past this big old 35 Chevy truck we've got here, and we'll cut off this direction towards some of those F bodies. Really appreciate everybody hanging out today. I hope you're enjoying it. If you've got friends, tell them to jump on with us and check the stuff out. 1946 Hudson Coupe, great project car. 65 Rambler station wagon, bay window Volkswagen bus. 1951 International L110 short bed pickup, great project, complete truck. 1964 Dodge short wide bed. 1950 Chevy 3/4 ton pickup. 1955 Buick 2-door hardtop, a little special, good body on that car. Complete 1942 Chevy 2-door sedan, something you don't see very often.
64 Malibu.
I do not have any 64 Malibus at all right now. I've got 165 2-door hardtop, but there's not a lot left of it. There's a few F bodies right here. We've got a 94 Formula and a 77 Trans Am right here. And we got the bulk of our F bodies are down here towards the end, so we'll head that way, kind of skim those. And like I said, if there's a section you want to see or something specific, let me know. We can sure kind of work that way. We've got about 1,400 cars and trucks on the ground right now, so we got a lot of stuff to see. Pretty tough to bring it to you all on one live, but we've got a lot of videos of specific stuff, just like this 37 Chevy that came in recently. We've got a good walk around video on that car. And a lot of the stuff we've got on videos. That stuff comes in. I always try to do new inventory videos on it, plus try to mix in some of the stuff we've had here. So, questions, comments, sure throw them up there. We'll sure try to get to them. We okay?
Yep.
Okay. Really cool Railway Express 1939 Ford truck. That's a super cool truck. Just shot a video on that today. Going to be coming out soon. Then the next week or two we'll have a good walk around on that. Entering the F body section right now. 77 Camaro. Some second, third gen, all second, third gen stuff there. 1 4th gen. Some more 4th gens here. Got a wide selection of them. It's all pretty much second, third, and fourth. I don't really have, I pretty much sold out of first gen stuff. But, you know, like I said, this third gen stuff here, it's getting hard to find. Try to keep as much of that around as possible. Always grab it when I can, because they're not going to be around forever. So, Got 154 Pontiac here that obviously is going to go over here into this 50s era GM section we were just looking at. Just hasn't got that far yet. We get down here in the corner, we've got some more second gen stuff. Plus I've got a lot of Firebirds and Camaros that I've got several of them in my personal collection. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for another one. If anyone's got a Ram Air 02 Trans Am, it's an automatic coupe out there for sale. I'm interested in one. I've been trying to find one of those for my personal collection.
39 or 40 cars.
There again, 39 or 40 what? That's a pretty broad question. We've got 1,400 on the ground, so give me a little more info. We'll see if we can help you out. 54 Pontiac station wagon. That's something you don't see every day. 62 Chevy short wide bed pickup. Here's something different. 1958 Oldsmobile 88 two-door sedan. Very seldom seen car. I'll kind of keep working our way this direction. Got any other comments popping up?
39 or 40 Ford.
Depends if we're talking car or truck.
Cars.
Cars, okay. Nothing there at all. The only thing we've got is the 39 Deluxe Coupe that we've got rad-holed that we pulled out of a lean-to a few years ago. And I'm pretty sure that car's not leaving anywhere anytime soon. So I think that's one of the few that we've got on our builder list.
Adam says he's got his friend's got a 99 Ram Air, but it's in the UK.
Yeah, that wouldn't do me much good. So here's something really cool, Chevy step van. We don't see these very often. These are really neat old delivery trucks. No running gear in this truck, but a really pretty decent body. A little bit of rust around the edges. But it's got the cool stuff on it. The step van badge there, the Chevrolet badge there. Got all the dash stuff in it. Got the big bow tie on the nose. Really cool sloping front end on these trucks. So we're going to keep going. You guys want to see something, be sure to let me know. We'll sure try to show it to you. Hope you're enjoying it. Thanks for stopping by today. Appreciate all the kind comments and the support of you guys. If we do miss your comment, I apologize. Sometimes the system doesn't feed us, and sometimes they get scrolling pretty quick, and we miss them before they go away. Dodge A100 van, something you don't see very often. Those are getting extremely popular. It's only one of the little A100s I've got here. This was an interesting truck. Believe it or not, this was a Diamond T, late 40s era Diamond T, and the truck that this was on had a crane on it, like a small crane, and they literally destroyed the cab basically. But there again, back in the day, these trucks were not trophy pieces. They were not show pieces. They were workhorses. They needed a crane. They had a crane body. They needed a truck to put it on. They had a Diamond T apparently, so they took the Diamond T, whacked it off here, and the crane boom would literally lay down here beside the driver. Literally right beside the driver. You can see how close it is between the steering wheel and the edge of what is now the cab. Now the other thing that's interesting about this is when we look at how they did this, this is an inside garnish molding out of some other car that they took. It would be the left side garnish, and they basically held it up here, welded it into the Diamond T cab so that they had a window opening for the driver or your operator on this thing.
40s International trucks.
I've got a bunch of them depending on which ones we're talking about. In fact, there's several of them right near where we're standing, depending on which series it is, because there are two completely different 40s International trucks. So.
62 to 4 Impalas or 58.
I've got a few 62 to 64s, nothing that's a good. I've got one 64 two-door hardtop that could probably be built, and I've got some parts cars, but all the parts cars are four-doors.
57 or 8 Chrysler New Yorker.
Nothing there at all. So, interesting that what happened to the Diamond T. It still got its tag on it, still got its info on it, still got an engine in it, but the whole front clip's gone. And like I said, they destroyed the cab, but there were a lot of good pieces. I actually sold a lot of parts off of that truck. Those Diamond T's are so hard to find that even though there wasn't a lot left of this one, I had to bring it in and save it. Here's some of the international stuff. And as a matter of fact, while we're on the topic, we've got two of them sitting right here. That's a perfect example. In case you guys don't know, like I just said, there's two completely different 40s era International. International made that series from 1941 to 1941 to 1949. They made the K1 through the K5, or the KB1 through the K5, and then they made 6 on up. Now, where we're standing right now, we've got a perfect example of each. This is a 6 on up. You can see how this nose sticks out and how big it is. There's a stand right there. That was where your headlights were at. Even though this truck isn't complete, we can see the differences here since we're kind of on the subject and we had a question about it. This was 6 on up, the bigger series trucks. This truck here, 1 to 5. We can see the smaller nose, kind of a little bit pointier, not quite as pronounced. The fenders came out further. The headlights were in the fenders. Now, what's critical about this information? Well, everything. Because basically, nothing off of that truck will fit this truck with the exception of, you got some questions?
A few.
Okay.
Go to 80s G bodies.
Yeah, we can work our way to the G bodies.
And what is that one, I think, on the internationals?
Okay. I assume that's where we're at right now,
Yep.
what we're talking about.
And then 65 to 77 Broncos.
No early Broncos at all. So, real quick, back to these internationals. I don't want to keep everybody hung up on internationals all the time, but this is very important information because I deal with this all the time. I get a lot of guys that call me and say, I bought this off eBay. It says it fits a 48 International, but it doesn't fit my truck. Well, I ask them which truck they've got, and they don't even know. Some of the differences, we'll point some of them out. This cab on the 6 on up, very similar to a 37 to 40D cab, but not exactly the same. Some things are the same. Windshield frame is the same as a 37 to 40D. Doors will work. Bottom of the cab and stuff is different. This windshield frame is 41 to 49 International. So is this, but they will not fit. They're completely different. This is a narrower frame. You can see along the bottom here, this is straight. You can see along the bottom here, this is curved. These are both 41 to 49 Internationals, but nothing interchanges except the only things I found that interchange: glove box door and dash cluster. That's it. Nothing else is the same. Doors, windshield frame, dashes, obviously front clips are completely different. So that's why it's so critical on the 41 to 49 Internationals to know which cab you have or which truck you have. I know a lot of you guys are building hot rods or just getting a cab to start with. If you buy this cab and you buy parts for this cab, they won't fit. And I get those calls quite often. So that's what's so important about those differences. So we'll kind of head this way. The G-bodies are back over towards this corner, so we'll head that way. Anybody wants to see anything on the way, be sure to let us know, and we'll start heading towards the G-bodies. Lots of pickups over here. This area is primarily Ford. It's all going to get reshuffled as well. But this is primarily Ford, 48 to 50 Ford. That black truck's a pretty unique one, 1939 1-ton with the big bed on it. There's another KB5 International that kind of, or KB3 International, excuse me, that kind of got mixed into the batch there. Some 60s era Fords here on the sides. These were big farm trucks. These have been cut off. You can see that frame was cut right behind the cab. And a lot of people ask me why you do that. Well, there's multiple reasons. One, they don't take up much room. I've got 3 trucks here, and I have all the sheet metal for these 3 trucks in the same amount of real estate that it would take to put one of those complete trucks if it had the big 20-foot bed on it. The other thing is, these are much easier to haul. I can put 2 of these on a car trailer at one time and bring them in. The third reason is the backs of these trucks with the big metal beds, the huge differentials. The backs of the truck weigh as much as the front. So to buy these trucks, I would have to pay a ton more money to get stuff that most people don't need and don't want. Plus they're harder to haul and they take up a ton more real estate. So when you see a lot of these half trucks, they were farm trucks that were cut off, so we didn't have that big huge monster bed to deal with when they got here. I do have a lot of trucks that are intact with the beds, but a lot of them, when you see one cut off, that's why. Something else starting to get real popular you don't see very often, this 1969 on up, the early 70s era Ford Econoline van. Some new inventory here, just picked it up the other day, pulled this out of a barn where it's been for 40 plus years. 1959 Edsel Ranger. Got a video coming on this week of how we found it in the barn. We use this super awesome, like a 966 big old Caterpillar articulating tractor to pull it out with. Video on that coming, and then after we may need to get a bath, maybe we need to get a few rain showers on that one, we'll give you a more detailed video on the old Edsel when we get to that point. Lots of cool stuff here. This whole middle area, we just got this raised about a year and a half ago. This was so low we'd have a lake in here. We got a bunch of fill dirt hauled in, got this built up. So everything in here is kind of a mishmash of, it kind of got to be a big open area to dump cars. So all this stuff in here needs to be put away. A lot of cars that came in from Dad's, a lot of these Pontiacs, a lot of these Buicks over here, stuff we moved in from Dad's. Plus other stuff I've been picking up. 1979 International Scout 2, 1972 Chevy Love, a couple of Jeep Wagoneers.
4-door swinger dart.
You want to take a look at this one here that we just went by, I assume a 72. This is the only one of these I've got, so we'll look at it real quick while we're here. Just a basic old 4-door. But there again, When I bought this car, it was kind of one of those things. You really want to just drag in a 4-door Dart? Well, if the other option is it was going to be in for scrap. So either buy it or it gets crushed and there's nothing left. So the car does still have a lot of good pieces on it. Still has some good front end sheet metal on it. All the dash stuff is all still in it. So there again, it's just a basic 4-door Dart, but when they're flat, there's nothing left.
56 F600.
Yes, I do still have the 56 F600. We just walked past it up front a little bit ago. So if you're interested in that, give me a shout. And but yeah, it's still sitting here. Got a good title, ready to go.
58 Ranchero.
No 58 Rancheros. I've got 159 body.
50s Chevy 3-window trucks.
There again, depends on which one you want. That's a pretty broad topic. We've got a ton of Chevy trucks. So 1946 Ford 1-ton. That's a pretty cool old pickup.
60s or 70s Ford wagons.
There again, depends on exactly what you're talking about there.
And 70 Pontiac big body.
I've got some of those over in this corner. We can swing by those here in a little bit. 1951 Ford truck. That's a pretty solid, complete old truck. It actually has a small block Chevy in it. It supposedly runs. Boat tail Rivieras. These cars are getting super popular. We got about 5 boat tail Rivieras in stock right now.
Challengers.
I've only got one real nasty Challenger shell left. I've got 170 body, but there's not much left of it. It's good for cutting patches out of the shell, and that's about it. It's already been cut on, so it's not a complete body. Super cool 1941 Ford commercial truck I just picked up a couple of weeks ago. And we'll kind of swing our way around here and catch some of the G-body stuff. Once again, more Buicks that need to be put away that come in from Dad's place. I don't know, we moved 150, 200 cars here from Dad's.
66 Mustang.
I've got a little bit of coupe stuff in 65, 66, but that's about it. A few parts cars, nothing real good, nothing complete, just some miscellaneous pieces left. Some G-bodies scattered around here. You got a GMC Caballero, like an 82 or 83. Pontiac Grand Prix, I think that's an 85 or an 86. And obviously, as you can see behind me, we've got a pretty good selection of G-bodies right here. I guess we'll just start at this end and kind of walk our way down. Kind of swing around over there, we can catch those full body 1970 Pontiacs as well. They're back here on the other side. There's one of the Malibus, 78 2-door, non-Landau, regular 2-door, 78 Monte Carlo, a couple of mid-80s Regals. A couple of more Regals. This one is like an 80 or an 81. This car here that's wrecked, kind of one of the reasons we drug this car in years and years ago, that actually has a turbo motor in it. It's an early one, it's a carbureted turbo, but that car does have a turbo motor in it. 79 Grand Prix, buckets, console, floor shift, lots of good pieces left on that car. Something that kind of got stuck in this corner that we don't see very often, 1990 Lumina Euro Coupe. These were really neat little cars. These are cars that I thought never really got the respect they deserve.
46 Chevy pickup.
I've got some, just depends on whether you need a complete project, whether you need parts, just, like I said, get into some specifics. There's none of them right around here. There's one up towards the front. We can sure walk by if you want to see a few.
And are you done moving everything out of your dad's place?
For the most part. There's a couple of things there. There's 2 or 3 things we need to move yet from there, but that's about it. So we basically got all of it other than a couple things he had behind the building. So just a few more things, but no big deal. 82 Monte Carlo. There's a few more Regals, some 83, 84 Cutlasses down in there.
Do you sell your promo models?
I usually don't sell promo models unless I've got multiples. So most of my promo models I keep. We like to collect those as well as part of our memorabilia collection.
46 Hudson.
I've got the 46 Hudson Coupe that we walked past earlier that's up toward the front. That's all I've got. There is a full YouTube video on that. It's probably a year and a half ago I posted that video, but I do have a full walk around video on that 46 Hudson Coupe that we saw earlier in the video if you want to check that out. A little 4-door G-body Buick Century, something kind of different. 79 Malibu. Actually, a 79 Malibu classic estate wagon. Not just a regular wagon, a classic estate wagon. I do have a couple of 78, 79 Malibu wagons in stock as well. So, as we're working our way around here,
Square body Chevys.
I've got a few square body Chevys, not a ton. They're kind of scattered. I don't have that section put together yet. I've got a few of them around, but they're kind of all over the place. So we'll kind of try to catch a few as we walk around. But as you see behind me, this whole area here, this section right here has been organized and sorted. I'm working in this area right here. Obviously, this L section right here where we're at is going to be 1959 to 1970 full-size GM. Obviously, we got a Plymouth and a Chevy pickup here that just came in. I needed a hole to sit them. So they got sat off there to the side, but those just got here. The 39 Plymouth, 39 Chevy half-ton pickup. We got videos coming on both of those as well. Stay tuned. We'll have those here within the next week or two.
53 Chevy Advanced Design 3100.
I've only got one half-ton in a 52 or 53 Chevy. It's not totally complete. I've probably got enough parts to put it together. I don't have any Dana 44 front ends. So this area back here is still kind of a mess. You can see some other Chevys, Buicks, Oldsmobiles kind of all in this section. But like I said, all those big piles back there are still fill dirt as we're raising areas and improving my area out here to sit cars. But we can look here, you know, all my 1959, 1960 Buicks right here in this section. You kind of look down the row, you can see the distinct pins on the 59s all in a row. With a few 60s mixed in there.
Multiple 91 or 92 Camaro promos.
I don't think I do. I think I've only got a few of those. I'd have to, I don't remember. I think I did have, but I don't know if I've got any extras left. I know I've got one for mine. I've got a teal one because I've got a teal 92C convertible. I know I've got that one on the shelf, but I don't remember if I've got any extras.
63 Ford Galaxies.
I don't have any 63 full-size Fords. I've got several 64s.
60 Biscayne Bel Air Impala 2-doors.
Nothing there at all. Only thing I've got in 60s, one Impala 4-door, very little left of it.
Mid-60s Ford wagon for project.
Nothing in full size. I've got some early 60s Falcon wagons, but nothing in full size wagon.
Parts for a 72 clamshell wagon.
I don't have any 71 or 76 GM wagons. Here's one of the 70 full-size Pontiacs. There's a couple of them over there we'll need to catch. 1970 Bonneville 4-door hardtop. No motor and no seats, but other than that, most of that car's still pretty much intact.
Any cab overs?
Nothing for sale. We've got some cab overs that we're keeping, but nothing that's for sale right now. But there again, the 70 Bonneville, other than the motor and the seats, is pretty much intact. Real quick, while we're here, we'll head over this way. There's a couple more full-size 70s. There is this row here. I've got a 69 Bonneville, 367 Grand Prix. I've got 169 Catalina that's over on the north side in the new yard that I need to get moved over here into this row, and then get my 70s set in this section. So my 60s, I don't have any 68 full size, but I'll put 67, 69, and 70 all in that one group with a little bit of room if I do get some 68s or something else to go with it. So we'll scooch back this way real quick, catch those other full size 70s, and as always, if there's anything else anybody wants to see, be sure to throw it up there. We'll sure try to get to it. We can cut right through here. There's a couple more full size 70 Pontiacs. Once again, another Bonneville 4-door hardtop. Originally a 455 car, but there again, the motor's gone. Other than that, basically a complete body. And a 1970 Catalina 4-door sedan, and this car is pretty much complete and intact.
Can we see the front end on the 70 Bonneville?
Yeah, sure there's a couple of them right here. So there's the Catalina and this Bonneville, and then we've got the other Bonneville that we just saw. We'll head back over that direction as well.
65 6 Chevy half tons.
Nothing that's a good project. I've got a few, but nothing that's a real good project. There again, depending on what you're looking for, whether you need parts or project, things like that. So we'll keep heading this way. I hope we're catching most of the comments. I'm sure there's a few we're missing. We always run into a few system issues and things like that. And then sometimes, like I said, they get scrolling pretty quick and we miss a few. But as always, my number's on the page. You can always give me a call after we get done and sure have a discussion about what you specifically need or what you're specifically looking for. We'll peek over here at this other 70 Bonneville real quick. We'll take a walk around the front of this one also. So a little bit of rust in the fenders, and I think the hoods have a little rust in them. The noses are all good on them, so a lot of good pieces there as well. As you can see right here, this is all Pontiacs. This section has been sorted. In fact, this entire row right here where we're at is all 66 full size. Starting with a Star Chief on the end, Bonneville Brougham 4-door hardtop, a couple more Bonneville 4-door hardtops, Bonneville 2-door hardtop, factory 421 tri-power car, which obviously is all long gone by now, but it was a factory 421 tri-power, 66 Catalina 2-door hardtop. We'll just cut through the Pontiacs and go right this direction while we're here. into the 64, 65 Pontiac full-size cars. Another Bonneville Brome 4-door hardtop. Really cool Brome emblems on these. And kind of work our way through 59, 60, 61s in this row. And this first row is all 62s, including a super cool 1962 Catalina 9-passenger wagon. Something you don't see very often. We can kind of peek inside there. We can see it's the upper half of the seat cushion is missing, but the seat is there. And not only is the seat there, the switch is there, the dome light is there, the little steps are there on the back bumper. So really tough to find these early 60s GM 9-passengers. So pretty cool car there. 62 Catalina 2-door hardtop, something else you don't see very often.
Earlier Chevy pickup cabs, 29 to 36, or front clip, sheet metal, rough condition is fine.
I've got 3 or 4 29 to 31s that are in pieces. 33, I don't think I've got anything. 34, 35, I've got bits and pieces. And I just bought a 35 that is a chassis cab. There's no bed on it, but it's a complete truck. And it's a pretty good truck. It's still all intact. It's still in one piece. The wood's rough, but it hasn't fallen apart like a lot of them. Pretty good grill. That truck will be coming in within the next few weeks. Probably we'll have a new inventory video on it when it gets here. And then I don't really have much for 36 high cab, and I've got some cabs and miscellaneous pieces for 36 low up to 38, but not a ton. That stuff's gotten picked pretty heavy as well.
Early 30s coupes.
Nothing really that's a good builder or anything like that.
94 to 96 Impala SS.
I don't have any Impala SS's. I've got a really slick 92 Caprice that's just about ready to hit the market. I had one dent and one fender. I need to get that. It's actually at the body shop getting fixed this week, and I need to get it buffed out. But it's a nice old car. Like I said, not an Impala SS, but it's a super cool 92 Caprice. It's going to make somebody a great cruiser. Car runs and drives out great. A bunch of pickup beds, kind of where we're standing while we're here. These just kind of came in and they needed a place to put them. There was a hole here. Clear down on the end, a bed for 1941 to 46 International K1 to K3 truck. 1967 to 72 Chevrolet short step side bed. 1970 Chevelle front clip. Beautiful square body Chevy dually bed, or actually I think this is a GMC. It says GMC on the tailgate. But this is a rust-free, nearest what I can tell, dually bed for like a late 70s era square body. Super cool piece. 1948 to 1952 Ford big bed. This is the F2, F3 big bed with the big gate. Totally different than an F1 bed. These are almost impossible to find. This is a pretty good old bed. Even has the super hard to find big tailgate on it with a great Ford strip. Got an early 50s International short bed right here, and a 1960 Chevy short fleet side bed that they cut this truck apart in the late 70s, put their farm tools in this, and this sat in their machine shed at the farm since the late 70s. I don't think there's any rust in that bed either. It's got some dings and dents, but very good, very solid old bed.
56 Packard, executive 2-door coupe, interior parts.
Don't have any 2-doors. I've got one that is a 55 or 56, but it's a 4-door.
Interior parts.
So if it was dash stuff, things like that, I may have it. Anything that was specific to the 2-door, I would not have.
Is it a 91 Caprice?
It's a 92, I believe.
Or,
So. Oh, 9C1. No, it's not a cop car. It's just a regular Caprice. It was literally a little old lady's car, still had a handicap tag on it when I bought it. It's just a regular 92 Caprice. 66, 67 Chevy 2-door hardtops. I've got one Impala 2-door hardtop, but it's pretty rough. It's not a good project. So depending on what you're looking for there. So, I guess we'll look at some cabs, and then maybe we'll wander off over in here to the new yard where I'm getting ready to start sorting, because you never know what you're going to see over there, because nothing is sorted over there. But we do have a ton of truck cabs in stock. If you're looking for a hot rod project, you're looking for a replacement cab, we've got a ton of them. As of right now, we've got about 100 cabs that are off, sitting on pallets, ready to go. Some of them haven't even got onto pallets yet. All this stuff needs to be resorted because there's just so many of them. Like I said, there's right at 100 of them that are off. Internationals, Dodges, Chevys, Fords, a little bit of everything. There's even some more Diamond T's mixed in here. So
Power wagon beds.
don't have any power wagon beds. I've got the bigger pickup beds, but not a true power wagon bed. So we can see all these cabs lined up around here. Like I said, a lot of great pieces for replacements or great starts to hot rods. 37 Ford cab, that's something you don't see very often, a 1 year only cab. Great looking front clip for a 57 Chevy 4100, I believe, the bigger truck cab. We'll kind of cut through here and swing through some of this stuff and then maybe work our way over to the new yard. Short bed for a 39 to 47 Dodge pickup with rear fenders, something you don't see every day. Several 39 to 46 era Chevy cabs. Diamond T's. These are all rough. None of these are good complete cabs, but there's still a lot of pieces here, a lot of patches here. But like I said, they're Diamond T's. You don't come across a lot of Diamond T stuff. These are such a unique cab, such a great looking cab with the split windshield, the V'd windshield, kind of the lower profile look. Just a great looking truck. So, and they're so hard to find. Even though those cabs were rough, I still had to bring them in because you just can't find this. Let's see, what's the best angle of attack? We'll cut through here. We've got another big old International here, a 59. And actually, we'll cut through here. Here's some of these 29 to 31 era Chevy trucks. These three right here are all of that vintage. So we can take a look at some of these. Like I said, not a ton left of any of these. These were all wooden cab, wooden structure. So they basically fell apart. Obviously, we've got cowl section, fenders, frames, but there's a lot more here than what it looks like. We can come over here. We can see as these cabs fall apart, a lot of the pieces are still here. Back cab panels, doors, cab corners, more cowl sections, fenders. These do still have running boards on them. So, like I said, not a ton of great stuff, no good projects, but a lot of good parts. Square body Chevy cabs, those are getting really tough to find. We've got a few of those around. If we come over this direction, this whole row, both these rows here, these are all 48 to 53 era GM cabs. Let's see, 90s era Ford crew cab. The 79 green Ford, we walked past that real early. I assume that was probably that 1 ton maybe, I'm not sure. We do have one mid-90s Ford crew cab right there, 95 or 96 four-wheel drive crew cab long bed. It is a complete truck and it is pretty solid, dings and dents, things like that, but definitely still a savable truck. We'll kind of walk through here and then kind of cut over towards some of the new yard stuff. These are kind of interesting. Not that old yet, but they're starting to get old. These stacks of beds here, brand new takeoff S10 beds from the mid-80s, the old square S10s. It's kind of crazy to look at them today. These things are brand new takeoffs. They took them off, stacked them up. They still have the writing stamp on the inside of the panels. Tailgates are here. Those Diamond T's, I think they were all pre-war. I know there was 136 in that batch, and I don't remember what the VINs were on them, but none of them were military issue. They were all conventional or civilian use trucks. More beds, mid-90s Ford bed, long bed, but there again, nice and solid, got the tailgate with it. Late 50s era Chevy long bed. International long bed, step side, late 50s. This is a very interesting bed here. If you're building an early 50s Ford rat rod, this is the bed, especially if you're an oil and gas guy. If you're an oil and gas collector and you want to build a rat rod or a Patina truck out of an early 50s Ford, this is your bed. We're going to show you why here in a second. This is a half-ton short bed. Somebody did make it into a trailer. It has been used. It's got dings and dents in it. Rust is very minimal in this bed. The gate's even here. Of course, the gate's had a kind of a rough life. It's been banged up and used. Still has the Ford script in it. Obviously, they redid the back of it. It's had their taillight mounts up on it. Fender over here, once again, pretty solid. There's a little bit of rust in it, but not bad. But what's super cool about this bed, it is a short bed, which is great. But like I said, if you're an oil and gas guy, you're not going to find anything with a better floor in it. They made the floor out of mobile gas signs. As crazy as that is, and if you're a sign guy and you know and you see what signs bring today, they cut up 3 mobile gas Pegasus porcelain signs to put the bed floor in this truck. So I know in today's world that's crazy, but back then it was that was commonplace. These signs were scrap metal. Literally, they were scrap metal, and that's what they were used for.
How do they contact you for pricing?
As like we've talked about before, my number's on the page, so when we get done with this live, you can always give me a call, 620-786-4428. I did post that in the notes, so it should be there. If there's a snafu, I've got that on all my videos. You can click on any of my videos and get to that. So by all means, give me a shout. I'd be more than happy to get you pictures, talk about some more stuff, and see if we got something that can help you out. Front clip, 69 Buick Electra, 1977 Ford pickup front end, late 80s Caprice front end, early 80s Malibu front end. So, and that's something else to think about. Just because I may not have that exact specific vehicle on the ground, if you call me and say, do you have parts for this vehicle, or do you have this vehicle, and I say, no, I don't have it, you say, okay, thanks, and hang up. That doesn't mean I didn't strip 4 of them out over the years and have a trailer full of parts for them. So that's why it's and that's why the phone call is so important. So we can have that conversation. No, I may not have that exact vehicle here. I don't have a 73 Cadillac Eldorado on the grounds, but I stripped one out last year and I've got a bunch of parts for a 73 Cadillac Eldorado. That's why when you call me, be very specific about what you want. I need all that information from you to know if I may or may not have something. So just because I don't have that exact vehicle, don't hesitate to ask me if I may have parts for it.
Have you ever gotten stuck in the yard during the winter?
No, not too bad. I usually, if it's that bad, I just try to stay out. So we'll kind of work our way into the new yard, and everything over here is completely unorganized. Everything over here, as a lot of stuff we look at, isn't exactly organized, but I've at least got a plan as to where I'm going with a lot of this stuff. But over here, this has been tied up in an estate for about 10 years. I got it bought about 1.5 years ago, so I'm just getting kind of acclimated as to where things are going to go, how they're going to go, counting how many of a certain type of vehicle is over here, how big that section is going to be, whether that section for that specific vehicle is going to be over on this side or over on that side, or where it's going to go. I actually had a big Google map printed of the yard, had it laminated so I can start marking on it with a dry erase marker and kind of start laying some stuff out to hopefully not move stuff 37 times. So over here, you never know what you're going to see. We've got a lot of videos on this stuff, so be sure to go back and check them all out if there's something specific you want to see.
NP205 Chevy transfer case.
Nothing there. These are a few cars that I had that just got sat here out of the way. Some 79 Caprice wagon, 88 Buick Caprice wagon, a couple of little 86, 88 Buick Rivieras, 1973 Chevy Impala 2-door hardtop. But as you can see, everything over here was kind of dumped wherever it was dumped. And then on top of that, it sat, like I said, it's been tied up in an estate for several years. We've got a lot of the weeds under control. About 5 years ago, the weeds from basically here to the back of the yard, you couldn't even see any of these cars. The weeds got so bad in here. So we've made some progress. Even before I bought it, I was actually having some of this sprayed. We got anything or okay, because it was getting so bad it was coming over to my side, so I actually started spraying some of this before I even bought it, just because it was growing up so bad that the seeds were starting to go onto my side, and my spraying wasn't even keeping it under control. So a couple of 55 Chevy 4-doors right there. Something else kind of unique, 1956 Chevy 4-door hardtop on the other side of that 55. Now we'll just cut down this row and check out a few things. So Model T parts. Don't know much about Model Ts. I've been told that most of this pile is Model T, but I'm not very familiar with that. That stuff's almost out of my wheelhouse. So 68 Impala, 52 Pontiac, Here's something that you really don't see very often. There's not a lot of these cars out there. I've actually got 3 of them in the yard, over here in the new yard. The Willys Aero cars. These were made in the mid-50s. They were very limited production. They never really caught on. This is kind of a cool car. It is an Aero Lark. However, it's kind of a fancier one. It's got a lot of trim on it, a lot of stainless around the windows. And if we go up to the front fenders, we see this is an Ace Deluxe. So this must have been kind of a cool, fancy version of the Willys Aero is what I'm guessing. Don't know a lot about these cars. Like I said, there's 3 of them that I acquired when I bought this place, but I've never owned any before and don't know a lot about them. They're a unique little car. There's not a lot of them out there. So something else that's kind of been overlooked over the years, but definitely different and unique. Some more Chevrolets, 51, 51, 52. There's a mid-60s Chevy box, 1959 Ford pickup cab, 64 Impala 4-door, 52 Pontiac, 55 DeSoto. And like I said, you never know what you're going to see around here. There's the hood for the 59 Ford pickup laying on the back of the DeSoto. Here's something that's kind of interesting, something that's kind of unique. And I don't know if a lot of people realize this or not, but Ford made factory flatbeds back in the 40s, and this one is for a pickup. They actually stamped Ford truck in the back rail of the bed. Now this one's kind of rough. It's got some rust in it. I've got a couple of these, a couple of the smaller pickup versions. I've also got a couple of the bigger truck versions that would have been like on the 1.5 and 2 ton, like farm truck type trucks. Those didn't say Ford trucks, they just said Ford right in the middle of them. But regardless, if you're building a Patina truck and you don't want to go with a pickup box, these are the beds to have because they are factory and they're a great piece and they're really cool looking. So, like I said, there's just stuff kind of scattered everywhere in here. I've got a lot of cleanup, a lot of sorting to do, but at least I've got it all bought and it's all rolled into what I've got now.
59 Bonnevilles.
I don't have any 59 Bonnevilles right now. I've got a 59 Star Chief and a 59 Catalina. They're both 4-doors. Years ago, I had one 59 Bonneville 2-door hardtop, and I do still have a few pieces left off of that car. So, we can kind of check a few things out. Like I said, it's all unorganized in here. 48 to 50 Ford F3, 66 Plymouth Valiant 2-door post. Everything in here is kind of a mismatch. You know, there's a couple of Oldsmobiles right here, right next to a Ford truck. A 58 Ford truck from the Du Bois Sand Company right here in Great Bend. Really great doors on this truck. A cool patina look to them. Some internationals in here. A100, another Ford, an A110, an R110. So a lot of international stuff right here kind of in this group as well with these Ford cabs. More truck cabs right in this section. 54, 55 Dodge, 50 to 52 International L110. So like I said, everything's just kind of wherever it got dropped. Big old Cadillac. About a 79 Olds 98. There again, a car that, you know, this era, these square body GM cars from 77 up to about 90, you know, a lot of these cars didn't get saved, and I'm starting to get calls for them. I wish I had more of them. I've only got a few, but there again, that stuff's getting so tough to find that we've got to keep them around because when they're flat, they're all gone. So, kind of came back out to where we were. We'll kind of keep heading this direction, check out some more cool stuff. We'll head on down this way. 37 Chevy pickup right here. 1958 Ford panel truck, something you don't see very often. 53 Dodge half-ton short bed pickup. That truck is probably still savable, minimal rust on that truck. 71 Chevy Biscayne 4-door. These 70s era Chevys, those parts are getting tough to find. Several Cadillacs in this section right here. 61 Coupe de Ville, 66 Limousine, 63 Fleetwood. So those are always cool to have around. Unfortunately, this was a 62 Chevy station wagon. Somebody cut the roof off of it years ago. I'm sure they needed a big piece of metal for a street rod, and a lot of these wagons got sacrificed because they had a big flat piece of metal that they could put a full metal roof. and those old cars they were making street rods out of that didn't have a solid full metal roof in them. So I got a feeling that's what happened to that, which is really a shame on a factory red 62 Bel Air wagon. Some more Chevy pickups here. 48 to 53 era half-ton short bed 5 window. 54 half-ton short bed 5 window. That still has the very hard to find your actual 54 flat top bed on it. Another one of these little Aero sedan Willys. Pretty unique little cars. Some more 48 to 53 era GM pickups back in there as well. One of the Edsels in the yard, a 58. That one's a Citation. We've got probably 8 or 10 Edsels in stock right now, including the 59 we just pulled out of a barn Wednesday, I believe. We saw a little bit earlier in the video. So we'll kind of keep wandering around. Like I said, if there's something specific you want to see, let me know. If we're close to it, we'll sure try to walk by it. If you got specific questions, you can always call me after we get done. My number's on the page, and it'll give me a list of exactly what you need or what you're looking for, and see if I got anything here that can help you out. Here's one of the square body Chevy pickups. Had a cab fire, so it's pretty much torched. Some more Chevy trucks. There's some more 34 35s. Not a lot left of them, but there again, these were also the wooden structured cabs. So as the wood fell apart and rotted out, you know, we can see there's still a lot of pieces here. There's some of the cab panels, cab corners, running boards, things like that are still here, even though they don't look like there's a lot left of them. Some fixable front fenders, things like that. Plus, like I said, if you're into that era truck, I've got that one coming in. It is a chassis cab, it's not a pickup, but it is a complete truck other than there's no bed on it. But the cab, the front end, the grill would make somebody a great project. So stay tuned, that truck should be here within a few weeks. Rambler station wagon, another 54 Chevy pickup. 63 Mercury. Here's another 53 Chevy, 4-door 210. 46 to 48 era Plymouth 2-door sedan. Full-size 7, I think a 72 Pontiac. Here's another 53 Chevy, a Bel Air 2-door hardtop. 71, 72 Ford pickup. 50 to 52 International L110 pickup. 73 or 4 Chevy El Camino, 73 Chevy El Camino. 64 half-ton short bed pickup. Cool old Rambler. These are cars you don't see very often. I think this is like a 56 or 57 Rambler. These are a really unique design. Has a big chrome bar on the hood. Pretty sharp down the sides. Good lines on these cars. Once again, some cars that just never really kind of got their due, I think.
VW Beetles.
We've got a few Beetles, but nothing real early. Late 60s on up. No early Beetles at all. Another car that's really kind of unique, and we can get to this one now. We couldn't get a good look at this before. There was a 41 Studebaker here. I just moved a couple weeks ago because I had to get a couple parts off of it. But that gives us an opportunity to look at this. Studebaker Lark Wagonaire. These were a really unique car for their day. Now, we think of a station wagon, we think of, they've got the big luggage rack on the back so you can put luggage on top. When we look at this Wagonaire, you look at the luggage rack on this car, it's cleared up here to the front, almost all the way to the windshield. Is where they mounted the luggage rack on this. Now, there was a reason for that. These cars had a sliding roof. If we look right here, and this one is closed, you can see the tracks up there. You can see how this roof would actually slide forward and open up. And that's why they called it the Wagonaire. So, something kind of different, something kind of interesting. Got a Corvair, got a Pinto, got a couple of Vegas. Got a few vans over here, which are getting really popular. Got one of the flat windshield, like a 65 Chevy. Got another mid-60s Ford Econoline. Got an early 73, 74 era Chevelle wagon. Here's the Packard we were talking about earlier. This is, like I said, this is a 4-door, so depending on what you needed, I don't know what may or may not interchange. But I don't remember if this is a 5 or 6. I know there's differences in them, but I don't know those cars all that well to know all the details about them. Somebody did cut the whole rear clip off of this car. I assume somebody had one that must have got hit in the rear and needed the entire rear clip, or they may have used it for a custom project or something as well. But big old Dodge Polara over there, about a 69, something like that. Like I said, there's no rhyme or reason really to much of this stuff in here. There's the remains of about a 35 Chevy. A couple of Frasers over there, something you don't see very often. 39 Plymouth 4-door, a very specific 1 year only car on that 39 Plymouth 4-door. We can kind of come around this side and take a peek at the nose on it. And that car appears to, it has had round headlight conversions. Those cars originally had a square style headlight, but obviously being a 1 year only deal, they didn't stick around and obviously got kind of tough to find. So I think they were a glass lens with a bulb that went in behind it, but a lot of them got those steel beam conversions as time went on. Some other 40s era Fords. 39 Chevy 2-door sedan. Something you don't see very often, a 1960 Mercury. 47, 48 Chevy, a Kaiser. Those don't pop up very often anymore.
You're getting good at walking backwards.
Well, thanks. I'm getting a lot of practice. If you guys are on and we're checking cool stuff out, that's what I got to do. That's part of my job. If you guys are having fun, that's why we're here. Really cool old Dodge. I think this is about a 40 or 41 Dodge, something you don't see all the time either. 47 Cadillac right there. Extremely popular 47, 48 Chevy Fleetline. These are a great looking body style with a big sloping rear back that goes all the way to the rear bumper. This is a cool little car. This is a Hudson Wasp, about a 55. Really cool badge on the front of these. This is such a unique car. Once again, another one of those cars that just never really got their due. Great looking egg crate grille. And these were so unique and so different. This car had great lines. It had a molding that come down the side. It had these two-tone moldings that drop down here, so you can two-tone the upper part of the car. Really cool dash. Super cool big horn ring with a big horn button in the middle of it. No first gen F-body stuff at all. I pretty much sold out of all my first gen F-body Firebird or Camaro. A lot of second, third, and fourth, but not really anything left in first gen. Something else that are getting really hard to find, really popular, the Henry J. Here's one right here. I've got two of these. One of them was cut up into a pickup. This body here, still just the way it should be, except for somebody put a pipe reinforcement across the back. Don't really know what the purpose of that was. Don't understand it. Don't know why they did it. Unless, I don't know, maybe they need a place to hang their clothes or something. I don't know, but that has always kind of mystified me ever since I've seen that. So, what else we got going on? Let's check this one out. This is kind of different. This is something that's very seldom seen, and it's not very often a car stumps me. A car that completely stumps me doesn't happen very often. This one did. This is a 1942 Studebaker. Obviously, 1942 was a short year of production for everybody, and this car, I literally did not know what it was.
What year was the Wasp?
I think it was about a 55, if I remember correctly. But this 42 Studebaker I thought was super cool. I didn't even know what it was. And like I said, the 42 is a short production runs for everybody, all manufacturers, but a neat old car, and it looked really great. Something you don't see here, 66 Pontiac Le Mans 4-door hardtop. You know, we see a lot of these in 2-doors, and you see some 4-door sedans, but a 4-door hardtop you don't see very often in this body style. 58 Ford 2-door sedan body. We'll work our way up here to catch another row. Something kind of crazy that I'm actually going to keep that most people may think I'm nuts. Early 80s Ford Escort. I'm going to keep it. That car is almost 40 years old. There's not a lot of them out there. Were they the most popular car in the world? Nope. But are there any of them left? Not very many. So even though it sounds kind of crazy to keep that stuff, when it's flat, it's good for nothing. So we'll put it in a row with the Fords.
What classic vehicle is the camera lady liking right now?
Tell them what you like.
What area do you want to know? I mean,
yeah, you got pretty diverse interests. So tell them what you're building.
The cab over?
Yeah.
40 Ford cab over, making it into a pickup with a 40 commercial bed on it.
So be sure to check out the video on that one as well. But she does have a lot of diverse interests. We had an earlier question about 39 or 40 Fords cars, and the only thing we've got is that 39 Deluxe Coupe. but according to her, I think I would be in pretty big trouble if that car left.
You like it too?
So it's a great car, and we pulled it out of a lean-to down in southeast Kansas about 3 or 4 years ago. Super exciting day to pull that out and add that to the collection. So that's a key. I think that one's a keeper as well. It's going to be a great addition to that 40 cab over when it gets done. Speaking of that era, there's a 38, 39 Ford truck right there. Have another one of those coming in as well. Another 39 that I bought last week. We'll have a new inventory video on that truck coming up shortly. Probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks, depending on when I get back there to pick it up. I've got so much stuff to pick up. I bought probably 20 vehicles just in March, so I got a lot of bugging to do, and I think I've only picked up about 5 of them. So a lot of work to do, but that also means a lot of new inventory videos coming soon. Some more, a couple more old Chevy fleet lines. 47 Pontiac 4-door. Here we've got a couple of fleet line Chevys, another 47 Ford Race. And this one's a 50. But we can look at these. One thing that's nice about having these two cars sitting here right beside each other is we see these awesome sloping roof lines. I mean, the roof line literally starts at the top of the windshield and it does not end till the back bumper. But that's why these cars have gotten so popular. They are great looking cars. So there's a reason they're popular. They're neat. Speaking of, one other quick thing while we're here, the other Henry J is right here. We'll take a quick sneak peek at it. Somebody hacked this thing into a pickup at some point in its life. Don't really know what direction they were going with that or why they did it, but they sure did. If you want to see details on the 2 Henry J's, I do have one video that specifically covers those 2 Henry J's. So you can check that out for a good detailed walk around on both of those cars. 1940 Buick Super, 4-door. Still a lot of good pieces left on that old car. 66 Rambler, early 50s Packard. This is another cool car here. It's kind of banged up on the front. Let's walk around to the back of this. 1941 Oldsmobile. This is also one of those 2-door fastbacks like the flat split you looked at. Just such a great looking design. There again, starts, the windshield doesn't end to the rear bumper. Big Oldsmobile script, cool trunk handle, cool tail lights. Just a super great looking old car. This Packard's even a 2-door sedan. There's the back of the 47 Cadillac we just saw a little bit ago from the other side. Oh, 51 Mercury 4-door. Very little left of it, but there is still pieces there. And there again, some of this stuff is getting pretty stripped down, and you wonder why we may keep it. Well, you never know what somebody's going to need. You never know what small little piece that may seem insignificant that somebody's going to have to finish their restoration. So 1955 Cadillac, we've got a ton of 1955 Cadillacs in stock, several good projects in 55 Cadillac, one convertible, several Coupe de Villes, another 46 to 48 Plymouth, 41 Buick Special. There's a little Mustang Coupe there, not a ton left of the little Mustang, but there again, still bits and pieces. There's a cool little Hudson Superjet. There are 2 Superjets in here, as a matter of fact. A unique little car you don't see very often. About a 79 or 80 Ford LTD. There again, something that most people would think should just go straight to the crusher. Well, not many of those cars got saved.
59 Edsel.
I do have 59 Edsels. I've got 2 of them. I've got one that we just drug in the other day that we'll have a new inventory video coming out. I'll actually have a video of it in the barn and dragging it out. I'll post this week. It is a Ranger, and I don't remember what the other one was. So I do have 2 of them. If you need some stuff, want to give me a shout and give me a list. They are both 4-doors. This is kind of cool. 1949 Plymouth 2-door Suburban station wagon. You see, this is kind of a small wagon, kind of a 2-door sedan length door. Come around to the back, got a 2-piece tailgate, lift up, lift gate with a drop down tailgate. This car even still has the original taillights on it. Almost impossible to find for a suburban wagon. So that's a really unique car that you don't see very often. Another Vega. There are a handful of Vegas in here, however, no early Vegas. They are all later Vegas. Really cool, another really cool Hudson, like a 53 Hudson, I believe. And like I said, here's another good example of what I'm dealing with in here as I start sorting through stuff. A whole pile of metal. A lot of this was 47, 48 Chevrolet, but not all of it. So it's all got to be sorted through, kind of try to get it back in with somewhat of its like type cars. So had a question earlier about 2931 era Chevy trucks. Here's another cool one of those with a big tank on the back. This one is still mostly intact, so we can take a look at it. It has a bulk oil tank on the back that has been added to it. I believe the tank is earlier. I've actually had some people tell me that they think that was a horse-drawn tank that was added to this Chevrolet chassis, because this is what they said was where the guys would have sat originally had this been a horse-drawn tanker. So obviously been added onto here. You can tell it's got wood stuff on it to mount on it. It had side rails put on it, but it is a cool old truck. It is a neat looking old truck.
Any old wreckers?
Nothing for sale. There's a 63 Chevy up there that has, it's not a Weaver bed, but it's that type of bed, but I've got a buddy who's laid claim to it. Then I've got my old Chevy tow truck that I keep promising you guys a video on. I've got a 1950 Chevy 3/4 ton that was actually a Chevy dealership wrecker that was built in 58, and it still has all the original lettering on it. The original bow ties they painted on the door in 1958 are still there, so got to get you guys a video on that too. So we'll keep wandering. About a 79 Cadillac sedan DeVille. There again, one of those cars that, you know, these cars didn't get saved over the years. Now this stuff is super tough to find. Definitely want to keep that stuff around as well. So 64 Ford Custom, cement mixer. Once again, no idea how some of this stuff got in here, but this is an old Ransom cement mixer. Got a pony motor on this side of it. Had a big hitch that stuck out. You can tow it around. We can still see the remnants of the concrete on it. And it was powered by a little Leroy 4-cylinder pony motor over here. So still got the Leroy company tag even on it right there. So super unique piece. Great yard art if nothing else. I don't know what else it would be good for. I don't think you'd want to use it today. But so we'll kind of keep wandering this way. If you got any other questions, let me know. We'll probably get ready to start wrapping this thing up. I'm out of water. My voice is getting dry. So it's going to start cracking, and I don't think you want to hear me coughing or hacking because I'm dry. But we can sure show you anything else. If you guys want to jump on, check anything else out, let me know. We can walk by something. Another Corvair. 41 to 46 Chevy pickup cab and frame is about all that's left of that one. Coming back by the Wagonair, 68 Impala. Just kind of heading down the same area we came up through, so some of the stuff's probably not that familiar, but here again, engines and things just stacked around. A couple of more late 20s, early 30s Chevrolets. One of these, I know one of these was a car. I think this one was a car, and maybe this one was no, this one was a car, because I can see the rear fenders and the wire wheels on it. So that one was a car. Don't know what it was, and obviously there's too much stuff there to figure it out for sure. Falcon wagons, we can head towards the Falcon wagons and kind of loop that way as we get ready to wrap up, so we can do that. They're over towards this other way, but we'll kind of make that loop and then kind of work our way to the front and probably call it good. So anything else you guys have questions for, be sure to throw it up there. We'll sure try to get to it. Another 41 to 46 Chevy truck. That was a big truck there as well. 41 Ford, 67 to 72 era Chevy pickup. Based on the moldings, I think that would have been an earlier one, like a 67, 68.
Any old track noses in any piles?
Nothing like that, no. Another big old Cadillac, Studebaker pickup. Old Chevy panel, some other old Chevy trucks. 65 Mercury convertible. Like I said, yeah, we could go on and on. There's just, like I said, with about 1,400 on the ground. We got a lot of inventory to check out, so we'll kind of work our way over this direction towards the Falcon wagons, and then kind of make our loop up towards the front, and then we'll probably call it good. So throw up there anything else you've got, any other questions or whatever. We'll sure try to sneak it in here as we start getting ready to wind down. We'll cut back through this way, some more truck cabs, more front clips, a few Corvettes over there, not much left of any of those. A little bit back in the 60s and a couple of 70s era bodies. International cabs, 5-window GM cabs. 73 to 79 Ford cab. More truck cabs, 54, 55 Dodge. Mid 60s Dodge. Some more 48 to 53 era GM stuff.
Can a guy stop in and wander around during business hours?
Well, I don't have insurance to just let you go wander. I can take you out and show you what you want to see, but the other thing is I don't have business hours. I'm not open to the public. I am just appointment only is all I am. 1952 Buick Roadmaster right there. So if you want to stop and look at something, just give me a shout. And the other thing is, stopping to look doesn't show you everything. Not only do we have 1,400 cars on 20 acres, but I've also got 6 buildings that is 20,000 square foot under roof. My dad's got 3 more buildings about 20 miles from here full of parts. I've got 2 shops in town. He's got 3 shops in town. I've got 6 semi-trailers here full of parts. So stopping and looking still doesn't, I may have 3 of what you need in a semi-trailer, but you're never going to see it unless I know what you're looking for.
67 to 8 Ford F100, Mercury M100 inline 6s.
I don't have any engines that I know anything about. There's one of the trucks right there. That was a 1-ton. That was a V8. But I don't have any 6-cylinder engines for those that I know anything about. More of the Buicks would come in from Dad's. 50 Super 2-door hardtop, 54 Roadmaster 4-door, 55 Super 4-door, 51 Super 4-door, 74 Ford F100. If we've still got our Edsel guy on, I'm walking back past the 59 Ranger that we pulled out of that barn Wednesday. Been in there for 40 plus years. 53 Buick Special, 2-door. The very few remains of a 57 Bel Air 4-door. There again, not a lot left of that car, but its other destination was the crusher to be flat. So obviously there wasn't, it's either it gets destroyed, nobody ever gets to use anything, or we bring it in here. 51 DeSoto 4-door, 62 Thunderbird that just came in. Here's the Falcon wagons. There again, not a ton left of these. These are both 6061s. But bits and pieces, but they're nowhere near complete cars anymore. One there, one here. We can kind of cut through here. Take a little bit better look at them. Lots of bits and pieces still on both of these cars, but as far as if you're looking for a good project, probably not a lot here. We can see the back of that one's missing a lot of stuff.
Show the Cougar, please.
Cougar right here, there's a 67 or 68 Cougar. Not a ton left of it. There again, another one of those cars. I didn't have any of these early Cougars in stock at all. This car's fairly rough, but it was destined for the scrap heap too. So there's always stuff that somebody's going to use, so we went ahead and drug it in. Even though it is kind of a rougher car, there are still bits and pieces here. And there again, these Cougars were not saved like the Mustangs were, so the parts are not as easy to find. So even though it was a rougher car, we went ahead and brought it in as well.
Tri-5 Chevys.
I've got Tri-5 Chevys. I've only got one 56. I've got a few 55s, most of the 57s. No 2-doors. They're all 4-doors, and nothing that's really complete anymore.
Any 392s?
I assume we're talking Hemi.
Yeah.
But I don't have any. I've got a lot of first-gen Hemis, but no 54s or 92s. This is kind of a unique little car, 65 Ford Fairlane Sports Coupe, tuner hardtop, 289 V8 automatic, factory air, buckets, console, floor shift. Kind of a neat little car there. A couple more Mustangs, a 1970 Grande Coupe, a 68 Coupe. Let's work our way back this way up towards the front, and then we'll get ready to wrap up. So like I said, if there's something you want to see or got a question, be sure to throw it up there as we're going, because we're going to wrap up here within a few minutes. 1949 Plymouth 3-window business coupe, a pretty unique car. Something you don't see every day. 68 Coronet. Tuner hardtop, once again fairly heavily stripped. This section is all Mopar. That's what this section was set up for originally. Obviously now everything's going to get reshuffled, but this stuff is all Mopar. A couple of remnants of 37 Plymouths there. I've got one complete 37 Plymouth that just came in as well. It's over there on the other corner. 62 Ford Galaxy XL 500 convertible. We'll kind of work our way this direction. There's one of the 64 Fords, the Galaxy XL 2-door hardtop. Some more Mopar stuff. Here's one of the Dusters. 51 Imperial. There's another Duster. 56 Chrysler New Yorker 2-door hardtop. We'll kind of work our way around here. Here's kind of the other side where we started, over on the other side of this group, where everything in here is just kind of miscellaneous, bit waiting to be put away. 59 International 4-wheel drive pickup. That's a pretty cool little pickup. Those 3 rows towards the semi-trailers are all A-body GM, primarily Skylark. There's a few Chevelles mixed in that mix. This stuff here in the front just needs to be put away. It got dumped here. 64 Ford custom 2-door post, 51 Ford Victoria.
39 or 40 Ford complete chassis.
Nothing there at all.
6-bolt Chevy rally rims.
Don't have any of those either. Here's a pretty good old car. I've had this car around for a really long time. I never parted it out, and now I'm glad I didn't. I bought this car 20 years ago because it was a run and driving car with a 455 in it. Now, I never took it apart, and I'm glad that I didn't, because today, this is kind of a cool car. 1971 Pontiac Bonneville 2-door hardtop. Missing a few pieces of trim, but other than that, factory red, white interior, 2-door hardtop Bonneville, 455 car. And definitely, in today's world, worth fixing. 20 years ago when I bought it, not quite as interesting, not quite as neat, but in today's world, those old 70s cars are starting to get popular.
Are you getting close to the Hudson?
Yes, we can catch the Hudson. It's up towards the front, so since we're heading up that way, we'll just plan on keep working that way and wrap up front. Here's one of the 41 to 46 Chevy pickups that we've got. This one's pretty rough. We've had a few people ask about those. We'll show this real quick, and then kind of work our way up towards the front and get ready to wrap up. So. But this is a rough old truck. There's still bits and pieces here. It may even just be yard art, but it is a pickup. But there again, of course, with what a lot of people are building with rat rods and patina trucks, somebody could still maybe even do something with it. So, 1965 Pontiac Tempest 4-door right here in front of it. Something kind of unique, just a basic 4-door Tempest with a factory 6-cylinder and factory air. Inline 6 with air, kind of different. 1959 Ford F-250 big back window custom cab pickup. That's something that's pretty unique and something pretty different, especially on an F-250. Has all the custom cab trim on it, and being a big back window cab, chrome custom cab grille, a lot of good hard to find stuff on that truck. 1969 Mustang Coupe, 1970 Pontiac Tempest, 1946 Ford truck, the 1972 Ford F-100, so you can kind of see where we're starting, back about where we started. We did have somebody ask about that green 79 Ford, what's right here behind it, so we'll look at it real quick. 79 F-350, 1-ton dually chassis cab is what that truck was. So we'll show you that real quick and then we'll kind of work up towards the front and get ready to wrap up. So there again, not a spectacular pickup, but those trucks are getting really popular and getting really tough to find, so we definitely got to save them and keep them around. So we'll kind of work our way back up this direction. Like I said, any other questions, comments, be sure to throw them up there because we're going to wrap up here in a few minutes, show off a few more things up front. We've had some questions about the 56 F600, it's up there. We've had some questions about the 46 Hudson Coupe, it's up front. So we'll head up there and show those again. Really great pickup here. Haven't got it cleaned up yet. We did a live on location on this truck. 1949 Chevy 3600, 5-window custom cab. This truck has about the most perfect look you could get. It is 5-window, it's got a little bit of the paint left on it. Has all the custom cab stainless trim, chrome grille, original hood ornament, original chrome hubcaps. This truck even still has the original chrome rear bumper on it. I have parted it out and bought and sold. I have no idea how many of these 4853 GM trucks over the years. And this is one of a few that I've ever seen with a factory rear bumper. They just never had them. They were optional and most people never bought them. And there again, like we've talked about, these trucks were work trucks. They were utilitarian vehicles. They didn't need to be pretty. They didn't need to be fancy. They needed to do the job. They needed to do the job well. And that was all they were for. And if you're going to do a job, this bumper is not the bumper you want on there to do a job. So when you see these old trucks, they've got a big custom built heavy duty rear bumper. That's why, because that's what you got from the factory. So that didn't do you much good anyway, so why order one? Because you were going to take it off and not use it anyway. Something else kind of interesting back there, 1963 Buick Special Station Wagon. That car's pretty much complete, and it's pretty unique and pretty different as well. 55 to 57 Chevy cars. What I've got there, like we just talked about, I've got several 7s, a couple 5s, and 1 6, but they're all 4-doors, and nothing's a good complete project. I've got a lot of parts for them, but that's about it. Here we're showing some more of this A-body section. Like I said, primarily Skylarks with a few Chevelles in here. 3 Buick Sport Wagons, 1 Buick Skylark convertible. So lots of bits and pieces left there. 70 Skylark two-door post, which is a very seldom seen body style. Here's the 67 Riviera. We did a full video on this car the other day, or 66 Riviera, excuse me. This car was disassembled to be restored, overhauled the motor, overhauled the transmission. California car, very, very little rust in that car, and that car is pretty much totally complete. Buckets, console, floor shift, tilt column, AM, FM radio, tons of good parts there. Or, you know, if somebody really wanted to get motivated, that car could still be fixed. But it would take a ton of work. But it is a good solid shell, does have a title, and does have a ton of good options. There's some more of the sheet metal from the Riviera right there. There's the front clip, the bumpers. Here's another one of the 41 Chevy pickups we talked about. This is a half-ton short bed. Once again, kind of a Raffle pickup, been sitting for a long time. But for the most part, it is primarily intact. It is a half-ton short bed. It is a little rough around the edges, but there again, if you're building a Patina truck, hot rod, you know, there's a lot of that stuff you can work with. This roof fender's still intact. Has kind of some cool lettering on the doors. Don't really understand what it meant, Quarto Centennial or something. Had kind of a neat shield on it, so kind of some cool lettering to it. This is a 41, we know that because it has the back window frame and it also has these park lights here. This obviously is a 41 only park light. 46 had a solid steel cap that did not use this pot metal base on the 46s. So this is an earlier one, we know that because of those park lights and the metal frame around the back window. So we'll head up here towards the front. We've got the 1969 F100 we did a video on last week. This is a great pickup. It is complete. I have not ever had to try to get it running, but it is intact under the hood. Two-tone blue and white. Seat's even pretty good in it. V8 automatic, air conditioning. Would make somebody a great project truck. It is a Ranger. It does have the extra fancy trim, the extra emblems on it. So we're going to way up here towards the front of the buildings again. Got a few things that some people wanted to see. I hope you're all still on with us. Here's the 1956 Ford F600. We've got a full video on this truck. If you're interested in that, be sure to check this thing out. Pretty good old truck. A little bit of rust in the hood, but overall this thing is pretty straight. We take a peek inside of it real quick. We can see the floors, the rockers, the cab corners. Overall, just a pretty decent old truck. Obviously a 56 being a one-year only cab. Tough to find, something you don't see very often. So there's that one. There is a full video on this, so like I said, be sure to check that out if you're interested in it. If we didn't catch the rest of this back row, I guess we can talk about it real quick. 50 Studebaker pickup, that was a 1-ton long bed. 53 Ford F250, and yes, it does have a 55 grill in it. The front clip was changed. That is a 53 Ford pickup. Another 4950 era Studebaker truck. This is a really unique truck. This Studebaker is very complete. Obviously, it's a bigger truck. It is a dually with a bed on it. But it's got, this bed is tiny. It's like a 9-foot bed. So this truck isn't any bigger really than a pickup. And these side panels can come off, make somebody a great little parade vehicle, Christmas vehicle, something like that, if you want to just go have some fun with it. 1977 Ford F-150 Super Cab, and the 1954 Ford F-350. We've got a video on this truck as well. I called it the jack of all trades because, like we talked about, these trucks were workhorses, utilitarian vehicles. Big, heavy-duty custom-built grill guard, hitch where you can hook this behind the tractor, tow it to the field. Big headache rack on it. The reason it had a big headache rack on it, this truck was set up for gin pulls. It had a pivot point for a snatch block in the back. This housing here was set up to put a winch in it. And if we look at this custom built back bumper, it had a place for gin pulls to pin on it. And this back bumper was set up to do a lot of stuff. It had all kinds of hooks and attachments and all kinds of stuff on it. But there again, like we talk about, these trucks were workhorses, utilitarian vehicles. That was their sole purpose for existence. Not like today, where they are, you know, put on a pedestal, cherished, prized. And then, you know, they're really getting the attention that these old workhorses deserve. That's what's great about Jack of all trades. And that's why I call it the Jack of all trades, because it's what it did. It did its job. It did its job well. Fortunately, the truck survived today in one piece so we can see what that truck did. Here's the 46 Hudson Coupe. Like I said, we do have a full video on this. You can get a deep dive and do a good walk around on it. Missing a couple of pieces of trim, but otherwise this car is pretty much complete and intact. Interior's there, dash is there, seats are there. Front end is all still here. Grill's all still in it. I'll show you one real cool thing about this car if you're not extremely familiar with these. Because there's how the hood opens. Engine block is there, it's apart, but pretty unique that if you're not familiar with these old Hudsons, that these were a front tilting hood is how they worked. So, great project if somebody's looking for one. Ton of potential and definitely something different that you're not going to pull up next to at the next cruise night, which that's a lot of the reason we do this. Different. Brings back memories, different styles. And that's what these cars were. They were art. Everything that went into these cars, everything we've looked at today, all these cars that we've looked at from the 30s, the 40s, 50s, 60s, even up into the 70s, design was a huge deal. If you were on with us last Sunday night on the Sunday Night Live chat, we talked a lot about Billy Mitchell. The magazine we did last week was last Sunday night was Motor Trip from 1977. Talked about Billy Mitchell's retirement, and it was very interesting in that article. He said, Billy Mitchell, the legendary designer for GM, that his biggest challenge throughout the years was dealing with the marketing people, the bean counters, the design, the engineers, all that other stuff that the designers had to fight. Now, that was in 1977. We saw what happened in the 90s as that influence of those legendary designers started to fade. But we can see all that today in the stuff that we're looking at. Now, fortunately, manufacturers have realized that design is important, and design has come back, which is great, and I'm excited about it. But these vehicles that we looked at, this stuff was all art. It was all design. You look at the 3-tooth grill in the 51, 52 Ford truck. You look at the 41 commercial next to it. It was all design. It was all about beauty. It was all about getting the attention of the car buyer. And that is what was so great about that era. And that's why we like it. That's why it brings back those memories and things that make you happy and you enjoy. And you look at the modifications, the pipe bumper on the International, the pipe headache rack on the Dodge, the C-channel rear bumper on the Chevy pickup. Now, we just looked at a factory rear bumper on a Chevy pickup of this era. That's got a lot more meat to it where you could do something with it. That's what they did, it's what they had to do. Just like the jack of all trades, it's what they had to do. These trucks worked, vehicles had to do a job. We look at pickups today where you've got $100,000 leather interior, sunroof, and they're nice, they're great trucks. But back in the day, people didn't look at them that way.
Do you ever collect V6 cars like Camaros, Mustangs?
I don't have any in my personal collection. I do see a future for them. I think they will be similar to the first gen cars, where I think people are going to like them. They're going to think they're neat, but they're probably not going to, command the money that the V8 cars will. But it's one of those things. Eventually, the V8 cars, the limited editions, the pace cars, the C28s, the Trans Ams, that stuff does thin out. The V8 Mustangs, and the guys that still like the body styles don't care if it's a V6, and that's fine, because that all goes back to what we're talking about with the design and the style and the interiors and the feel when you get in them and what that brings back. And that's what's important about this stuff, and that's why we love them. It's what's important to us and what we remember. So that's kind of what I've got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We've had a great crowd on here. Thanks for all the kind comments. I've seen a few of them. Thanks for all the support. I think we tried to catch most of the questions. I know there were some comments things got scrolling pretty quick, and it's tough to identify everybody, but I did see some kind comments that you guys are enjoying it, and I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. That's what makes these fun to do. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. As always, if you've got questions, just give me a shout. The number's on the page, 620-786-4428. You can grab any of my videos. That number's on there. Give me a call. Like I said, just kind of have a list ready for me of what you need, or if you have a short list of projects you may be interested in or might be looking for, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to try to help you out. Like I said, be sure to check out all my other videos. We do a lot of cool stuff on here. It's all old car stuff. We do a little bit of racing stuff because we like racing. We're 2 miles away from the SRCA drag strip here in Great Bend, Kansas, where the very first NHRA national event was held. And that track is in the middle of a multi-million-dollar renovation that should be done here within the next few months for this season. Be sure to check out their channel. I put that together for them as well. SRCA drag strip on YouTube. See what we've got going on there. So we'll have a little content from that stuff. But that's what we do on Here's Car Stuff. Lots more content coming from the Auburn Core Duesenberg Company in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Our new friend Doug Prey shot some awesome stuff down there. Once again, because it's the design, it's the beauty of those cars. That's what's fun about it. So we do a lot of different stuff on here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, this is what we do primarily as our business. We sell cars and parts. I am dual licensed. I am licensed for salvage in the state of Kansas, and I am licensed as a used vehicle dealer. So I can sell a door handle, I can sell complete vehicles, and I'm all legal through the state of Kansas. So I can do any of that, whatever you guys may be interested in, we can sure do. But and then obviously we've got the F&E Collector Auto Auction that I'm a part owner in as well. So we move a ton of iron, but we do it because that's what we love, and that's what we know. We love cars, we love the business, we love the people, we love the atmosphere, and obviously we love the design of the vehicles and what they evoke and bring back. So thanks for watching, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Yeah, if you've got any other questions or comments, be sure to throw them up there. We'll sure try to squeeze them in before we get done. If not, I hope to see you on tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time for Sunday Night Live Chat. If you have not gotten in on the badge raffle, we are giving away a collection of radiator badges, late 20s, early 30s era, the old enamel radiator badges that went on top above the radiators, you know, which really is what helped identify the vehicle back in that era. A nice collection of 6 or 7 badges, $1 a chance. You can PayPal me to get your chances. You send me $5, your name goes in the big Buick can 5 times, $10 goes in 10 times. CSE3@cox.net. That is on the posts from the Sunday night chat if you need to look that up. Anything in by noon tomorrow, I will get in on this week's raffle. We've got an Oldsmobile badge, a Dodge badge, a Plymouth badge, a Buick badge, a Chevrolet badge, a Ford badge, and a Triple Diamond International badge. I will be mailing those out to the lucky winner first of this week. Plus, we're going to announce the new raffle for April, and it is some pretty cool stuff. You'll definitely don't want to miss that. See what we're going to give away at the end of April. Plus, tomorrow night, we're going to give away an all can on trivia. So if nothing else, be sure to watch the videos from this week. You may win an oil can for your own personal collection. We'll be sending that out to somebody first of the week as well. So we'll get some cool topics to talk about tomorrow night. Plus, we'll check out another cool old magazine and talk about some industry news and what's going on there as well. So anyway, if we're wrapped up, any other comments, be sure to throw them up there. We're going to wrap this up and lock it up here in just a few seconds. We'll sure try to squeeze anybody else in if they've got anything. If not, we'll go ahead and call it a day. I got to get to work. I know some of you guys are waiting for some parts. I need to get some shipments ready, get some stuff off, get some big stuff ready to go and palletize so I can get it out of here for you guys. So lots more projects going on. They need some stuff to keep it rolling. So I got to get to work on that. We got any other comments or questions or anything? So in good shape there.
Besides, we need an O2 Ram Air.
Yeah, we do need it. I'm still looking for an O2 Trans Am Ram Air. So I would prefer an automatic coupe. Looking for that for Rocky Mountain Race Week this year. Cannot wait for Rocky Mountain Race Week. Super excited about that. My good buddy Matt Frost puts that deal together. Starting and stopping here in Great Bend at the SRCA drag strip. New event coming into the SRCA drag strip. Race Motive is bringing roll racing and half-mile racing in. Super excited about that. So, like, lots of car stuff going on, and that's pretty much what we're involved in. So thanks for taking some time out of your Saturday afternoon to hang out with us. Really appreciate it. Appreciate all the kind comments. Appreciate the support. And like I said, got any questions, give me a shout. Sure try to help you out. We'll go ahead and sign off. Hope to see you tomorrow night live at 7 o'clock Sunday night. If you can't make it tomorrow night, we'll be on live at 7 Tuesday night for Toy Tuesday. We'll do some more cool memorabilia from the Auburn Core Duesenberg Company in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Plus, we'll have a new video Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night. So stay tuned for those as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you hanging out with us today. Hope you enjoyed it. And we will see you soon on the next video.